From bushfires to climate change, Australian kids can be exposed to a lot of anxiety-inducing imagery. One psychologist has made it her mission to make sure children and families are taking time to look after their mental health. Clinical psychologist and author Alexandra Giufre joins me now. Welcome, Alexandra. How did you get into promoting self-care for kids?
Good morning, thank you for that. I think that self-care is so important for children as well as adults. As a psychologist, I realised that many people who were little, who were adults, didn't know what self-care was. And the people that did, there was often a lot of stigma or feelings of guilt around doing things for themselves. So I think it's really important if we can teach young people how to look after themselves and that it is okay and that they're worthy of it and that they don't need to feel guilty about it.
What about the imagery that we mentioned in the intro? How do you think parents should approach the way that they expose things to their children?
Do you mean in terms of self-care?
Oh yeah, in terms of what they watch, what they see, how much screen time, the stories, the news stories, the tragedy of life, everything.
I think that children really are little sponges and that they soak up everything that their parents do. Parents really are the greatest models for their children. There's no one more important than parents. So kids are really looking to their parents to see what the parents are engaging in, what the parents are talking about, what feelings the parents are expressing. So I think that if parents are really modelling healthy self-care practices, that kids can also follow that as well.
Do you think that the mental health of children is often ignored?
Definitely. I think that we're seeing an increase in people being aware of mental health and well-being for children, but also I think sometimes things can fly under the radar. You know, they can be dismissed or perhaps the reason behind it might be attributed to something else. So I think mental health is really important in kids and we should all be focusing on it a lot more. How
do you find children respond to self-care or the idea of it? Do most of them understand the concept? I suppose we need to break it down into ages, but it can be difficult sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the term self-care sometimes can be a bit confusing for children, but when you explain it, such as it's doing stuff that makes you feel good about yourself, it's doing things that give back to you, I think all children love that. All children want to play, they want to create, they want to do stuff that makes them feel good, so they really do understand that concept.
And finally, how important is that communication between parents and children to allow complete transparency?
I think it's really important. I think that parents need to be talking about self-care more with kids. I think they need to be discussing things about feelings, about activities that relax them and calm them. And I think that they really need to model that for children as well. It's very important.
Thanks, Alexandra. I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you.